everybody, and welcome to week 5 of Somerset Youth Theatre. This week we are going to be doing monologues. I'm really excited because I've got lots of brilliant things planned for you. But what I'd like you to do first is go and get yourself a pen or pencil and some paper. Pause the video now and I'll see you in a bit. Brilliant, did you get it? Good stuff. We're just going to be doing some writing later on, just a little bit, just jotting a few things down. So I needed you to get that before we started. Now, welcome to anybody who hasn't been to a session before, and hello to all of those people that have joined me on the weeks before this one. So great, monologues. We're going to do a warm-up first so that we're nice and ready to do our work. Okay, so can you please make sure that you've got enough space where you are, in your bedroom or in your living room, wherever you're doing this. Just make sure there isn't anything on the floor that you could trip over on, and we shall start our warm-up. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to make a really small ball with our bodies on the floor. So everybody make a really small ball like this. Can you still see me? Yeah, just about, I think. And I'm going to count down from 10, and I want you to grow as big as you can. So by 1, you're as big as you possibly can be. Are you ready? So really tight little ball, and ready, steady, go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, stop. Great, and now we're going to go all the way back down again. So we're going to go back into that ball, and I'm going to start with 10. You ready? Steady, go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, stop. Did you manage it? Great, and then we're going to grow really tall again. Ready, steady, go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stretch as much as you can. Super. Well done. Okay, let us take our hands, put them out in front of you like this, and you're going to say the word pow. And as you say the word pow, you're going to pow with your hands. You ready? Here we go. Pow. Pow, 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 pow. Then to the side, pow, 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 pow. Great. This time, take your hands in front and you're going to say the word wriggle, and you're going to wriggle your fingers. Ready, steady, go. Wriggle, 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 wriggle to the side. Wriggle, 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 wriggle. Fantastic. Okay, let's take our shoulders. I want you to take your shoulders and I want you to roll them back. Roll your shoulders and then your elbows, like this. That's it. And then your arms. So it goes shoulders, elbows, arms. You ready? Here we go. Shoulders, elbows, arms. And again, shoulders, elbows, arms. One more time. Shoulders, elbows, arms. Great stuff. And now we are going to run on the spot. So running on the spot. Run as fast as you can on the spot. You're going to get that heart rate up. Great stuff. Run. Get the knees up. Super, and stop. Brilliant. And while you're still finding it hard to breathe, I want you to breathe in through your nose, like that, and then breathe out through your mouth. So breathe in through your nose again, stretch up and breathe out through your mouth. One more time, breathe in through your nose, and breathe out. Brilliant, we just regulate our breath there. It's really important as an actor to know how to use your breath. Fantastic, well done. Okay, let us do our tongue twister now. Later on, we're going to be looking at some Shakespeare speeches. So I thought we would use a line from Shakespeare as our tongue twister today. So it goes like this. Full fathom 5, thy father lies. So it's kind of old-fashioned words. See if you can do it with me. Full fathom 5, thy father lies. And again, full fathom 5, thy father lies. And one more time, full fathom 5, thy father lies. Great stuff. All right, let's just get our diaphragm working this week. Let's do a a ha, and a ho. A ha, ho. You join in with me. Ha, ho. And again, ha, ho. 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 What will the neighbours think, eh? Brilliant, well done. I think we're warmed up. Great. Let's talk about monologues. So, a monologue is a speech that is in a play, and it's said by one character, and it can be said to another character or other characters, or it can be said to the audience. In Shakespeare, we call that a soliloquy. It's a nice long word, a soliloquy. It's when the actor or the character is talking almost to themselves, but by doing that, they're talking to the audience. There are no other characters on stage, but they're talking their thoughts and their feelings out aloud. That's what we're going to do first. We're going to look at a speech, and this speech is called Scout. And I imagine it's by a young person, a young boy or a girl, and they're talking about a dog that they have had, a pet dog that they've had, and they've had to give away. And so it's quite a sad speech, and I'm going to read it for you now. And then we're going to do a little bit of work on it. You're going to do some stuff yourself. Okay, so here we go. So yes, it's called Scout. And I imagine that the person that's talking in this speech, in this monologue, is probably about your age. So here we go. Have a listen. It's not very long. Okay, Scout. Before we moved here, we had this big dog named Scout. Mum always said he was a total mutt, but I think he was also part collie. Scout was supposed to be the whole family's dog, but he was really mine. I mean, after school, it was me he would be waiting for, and when anyone threw his ball, I'm the one he always brought it back to, and at night, it was always my bed he slept in. But before we moved here, my mum found out we weren't allowed to have any pets, so we had to give him away to my cousins. I don't really talk about it, but sometimes I dream about Scout. He's got his ball in his mouth and he's looking for me, and I'm saying, well, here, Scout, I'm here, I'm right here, but he doesn't hear me and he can't see me, and I'm saying, I'm right here. And then I don't know, I guess I wake up. I don't know if Scout dreams about me. There. What did you think of that? It's quite sad, isn't it? He's had to give his dog away. Oh. What we're going to do is we're going to talk about how in a monologue, in a speech, a character can tell us how they're feeling and thinking by what they say to us. In that speech, there's kind of three bits to that speech. There's the beginning bit of the speech where the young person talks about having the dog and remembering fondly what the dog used to do, sleep in his bed at night time, play with the ball, wait for him after school. Then there's a kind of middle bit where he sort of tells us what she tells us what happens to the dog. And then the last bit of the speech, that's the bit where we start to really understand how the character feels. The dream, it's a weird dream, and the young person can't find the dog, and the dog can't hear them, and it's all quite sad. So we're going to look at the first bit of the speech, the happy bit, where the young person is remembering about the dog, and then we're going to look at the last bit where the young person is telling us about the dream. So the first line that we're going to work on, and you're going to work on this, is the line, after school, it would be me he was waiting for. So he's talking about the dog. She's talking about the dog. After school, it was me he would be waiting for. So what I want you to do with your pen and paper, I want you to write that line down now. I'll repeat it again. After school, it would be me he was waiting for. Great. After school, it would be me he was waiting for. Now this is a memory of this young person. This is a memory of the dog and how the dog would be waiting for them after school. So it's a happy memory. So what I want you to do in a minute, I want you to pause the video and I want you to have a go at saying that line. And I want you to think about two things. I want you to think about the fact that you're remembering something and that it's a happy memory. Okay, and I want you to practice that line with those two things in mind. I'm remembering something and I'm happy when I'm remembering it. Okay, so pause the video now and have a go at that line, and I'll see you in a bit. Great, how did you get on? I bet you did really well. All right, so now we're going to think about the last line of the speech, which is, I don't know if Scout dreams about me. So it's in the section of the speech where it becomes a bit sadder and it's the bit about the dream. And so we're going to think about two things with this line. We're going to think about the fact that the character is wondering something and that they're sad about what they're wondering about. So take your pencil. I want you to write this line down now. I don't know if Scout dreams about me. I'll do it again. I don't know if Scout dreams about me. Great. Okay, so you're going to say that line to yourself. You're going to rehearse it in a minute. You're going to pause and have a go at that. And I want you to think about those two things. I want you to think about the fact that the character is wondering something, and that they're really sad because they really miss their dog. So wondering and sad. Pause the video. I'll see you in a bit. Good luck. How'd you get on? It really is sad, isn't it? When I read that speech, it does make me feel, it makes me feel really sad. What I'm going to do is put all the speeches, monologues that we use today underneath the video that you're watching now, so that you've got them there to use if you need them. Okay, so we're going to move on. Now we're going to make up our own monologue, and still thinking about feelings and thoughts and how characters let the audience know how they're feeling and what their thoughts are. We're going to use that idea, and we're going to make up our own monologue. We sort of did this last week, the same kind of structure. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you some lines and you're going to finish the lines off. And then we're going to do them with a different emotion. Okay, so the first line is, I went for a walk down the, and you're going to make something up. So I went for a walk down the, you got something? Great. Okay. Next line. I went past lots of, it can be anything. Next line. They were really it made me feel last line. So I went home and what did you do? So I went home and brilliant. Now remember, you can always pause the video if you haven't quite got that, and you can also write them down if you want to. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through that whole list again, with you adding the words on at the end, and then we're going to do it with an emotion. Okay, you ready? Here we go. I went for a walk down the... I went past lots of... They were really... It made me feel... So I went home and Great. Did you get it? Don't worry if you didn't get it completely right. It's not about getting it completely right. It's just about having a go. Just about having a go. So this time we're going to do it again, using your words and your ideas. And we're going to use a different emotion now and see if we can get that across, that emotion. So the emotion we're going to use is excited. Now it might be that you use some words that you wouldn't necessarily think were exciting words, but we're going to see if you can put what you made up and use the emotion of excitement to see how that changes our monologue. Okay, so you ready? So you're going to be as excited as you possibly can be. All right, you ready? Here we go. I went for a walk down the... I went past lots of... They were really... It made me feel... So I went home and Well done. Well done. You're super. So you see, you can change the way a speech is just by changing the main emotion that you use. We're going to do one more emotion this time and see how we can change it even more. So this time I want you to think about the emotion worried. You're really worried about something. So you're going to do exactly the same thing. Instead of being excited, you're going to be really worried. Are you ready? Here we go. I went for a walk down the... I went past lots of... They were really... It made me feel... So I went home and Were you really worried? Excellent, well done. Okay, so we've talked about emotions and how a character can get their thoughts across in a monologue. You can practice that monologue, the one about Scout, if you want to. And remember, you can always put it on our Facebook page and then we can have a look at it. We're going to move on to another speech now. Now this is a Shakespeare speech. For those of you that don't know who Shakespeare is, and I'm sure you do, Shakespeare was a playwright who was writing in the 15 and 1600s, so about 400 years ago. But he wrote loads and loads of different plays about all sorts of different things and different people. He was really amazing. And this speech comes from a play called A Midsummer Night's Dream, and it's all about a place called Athens and an enchanted wood. And the speech that we're going to be using is by the Queen of the Fairies, and she's called Titania. And her husband, Oberon, has put a spell on her, which means that when she wakes up, she will fall in love with the first thing that she sees. Well, anyway, she wakes up and the first thing she sees is a character called Bottom. And he's got a huge ass's head on, a huge donkey head on. But she falls in love with him because she's under the spell. And so she's determined to keep Bottom in the forest with her. And this is a speech about her trying to persuade Bottom to stay with her. So, here we go. I shall put on my glasses and I shall read you this speech. So this is Titania, and this is her saying to Bottom, "You're not going to leave this wood because I love you so much." Okay, here we go. "Out of this wood do not desire to go. Thou shalt remain here whether thou wilt or no. I am a spirit of no common rate. The summer still doth tend upon my state, and I do love thee, therefore go with me. I'll give thee fairies to attend on thee, and they shall fetch thee jewels from the deep, and sing while thou on pressed flowers dost sleep. And I will purge thy mortal grossness so, that thou shalt like an airy spirit go." There. So that's Titania's speech. It's a beautiful speech. She really wants Bottom to stay with her. Shakespeare does some interesting things when he writes speeches. And one thing he does is he uses something called iambic pentameter. It's very long words. But all it means really is that he writes some of his characters' lines in verse, almost like a poem. And it's got a rhythm to it. And this rhythm is called iambic pentameter, and it's a bit like a heartbeat. And in Titania's speech, we can hear that heartbeat. And it goes like this. Ti-tum, 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 ti-tum. And each line has 10 syllables, 10 bits to it. Ti-tum, 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 ti-tum. So, the first bit of the speech, we can hear it. It goes like this. Out of this wood do not desire to go. Thou shalt remain here whether thou wilt or no. Shakespeare uses this iambic pentameter mainly with the characters that are the sort of posh characters, the important characters. The high status characters, and he also uses this verse because it puts emphasis on certain words. Last week we were talking about emphasis, power of certain words, and so Shakespeare gives us a clue of what words we need to emphasize more than others, and we're going to have a little go at some iambic pentameter ourselves because it's just a really fun thing to do. So you can use this verse in anything that you say or anything that you want to write. If you wanted to write a speech in iambic pentameter, it's really quite easy to do. So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to make this heartbeat sound, and I want you to say it with me. So we're going to say it all together. We're going to go ti-tum, 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 ti-tum. So we're just going to tap our heart up here. Ready? All together. Here we go. Ti-tum, 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 ti-tum. 10 syllables. And now you can use that rhythm and you can put it to any line that you like. So for instance, you could say something like, I think I'll go and have a cup of tea. Brilliant. Or what other one have we got? Oh, I know. My mum won't let me go outside to play. Can you hear that? My mum won't let me go outside to play. Brilliant. 10 syllables, 10 sounds, ti-tum. What I want you to do is I want you to have a go at this. I want you to write me a line of iambic pentameter. So you're going to pause the video. You're going to use the 10 syllables and you're going to write me a line of iambic pentameter, and it can be about anything. So it could be about a cup of tea. It could be about the fact your mum won't let you go outside to play, but it could be something that you make up. So give it a go. You can write it down if you want to, and then say it out loud, because Shakespeare was always meant to be said out aloud, not just read on the page. So pause the video and write me a line of iambic pentameter, and I'll see you in a sec. How'd you get on? Was that easy or was that hard? I bet you were absolutely brilliant. So you could write your own speech in verse if you wanted to, your own monologue, just using those 10 syllables for each line. And in Titania's speech, something else really interesting happens as well, that each 2 lines rhyme. So you could use rhyme as well if you wanted to. Remember? Put it on our Facebook page so that we can see what you've been doing at home. Okay, so we're going to talk about this monologue a little bit more. This monologue is a persuasive monologue. So some monologues are written for characters to either persuade themselves to do something or persuade other characters to do something. Titania is trying to persuade Bottom to stay in the forest with her. She is offering him fairies that will get him whatever he wants, fairies that will lay him down on a bed of flowers and attend to his every need. I mean, if someone was going to say that to you, you'd probably do it, wouldn't you? So we're going to write a little persuasive monologue now of our own. And we're going to do it like this. I'm going to give you the line, I should be the ruler because. And then I want you to come up with 5 different reasons why you should be the ruler. So it could go something like this. I should be the ruler because I am very fair and kind. I should be the ruler because I have very smart clothes and I really look the part. Do you get the idea? Great. So once again, use your pen and paper if you want to, or you can just say it out aloud, and you're going to give me 5 reasons why you should be the ruler. So you're going to try and persuade me. So what I want you to do is I want you to pause the video, write those lines out, and you can use I should be the ruler because, and then give your reason, and then say it again, I should be the ruler because. So you can say it 5 times if you want to. Or you could just do it as a list. I should be the ruler because I am very brave and I also have lots of horses and I am very good at maths. Or you can do it, I should be the ruler because I have lots of horses. I should be the ruler because I'm very good at maths. Okay, you get the idea? So pause the video, write down or just say it to yourself so that you know what you're going to come back with, and then in a minute you're going to try and persuade me that you're going to be the best ruler. Okay? See you in a sec. Super. Did you manage to think of 5 different reasons why you should be the ruler? Okay. So now you're going to try and persuade me. I'm going to give you 30 seconds. I've got a clock over there. I'm going to give you 30 seconds on the clock. And I want you to use all the things you wrote down, or all the things that you've got in your head, all the reasons why you should be a ruler. And I want you to try to persuade me in 30 seconds. You've only got 30 seconds to do this. So if you run out of time, you run out of time. Are you ready? And you're going to say that speech to me. Okay, I'm going to look at the clock and I'm going to count you down from 5 and be as persuasive as you can. Okay, ready? We're going to go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. You've got 15 seconds if you haven't finished. If you have finished, you just have to listen to everyone else. 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, stop. Yay, well done. Do you know what? I think you should all be the ruler because you're all absolutely brilliant. Great stuff, well done. Okay, so we're going to move on to our last monologue now, our last speech. And this is another Shakespeare speech. And this is a speech from a play called The Tempest. And this speech is by a character called Ariel. Now, Ariel is a spirit, and he lives on an island with a man called Prospero and his daughter Miranda. And Prospero is a kind of important magician on this island, and Ariel is his servant, really. And Prospero has told Ariel to go and cause havoc and mayhem on the ship that has come into the island. There's a ship that has come into the island, and he's told Ariel to go onto this ship and cause a storm and cause havoc. And this is Ariel coming back to Prospero and telling Prospero what he has done to the ship and all the people that were on the ship. So you've got to imagine that there's this really stormy situation, and Ariel is telling Prospero what he's done. Now, some of the words are quite old-fashioned sounding, but that's okay, because we're going to work on some of those words later and see how clever Shakespeare is with his speeches. So I'm going to read you this one. So here goes. Ariel's speech from The Tempest. I boarded the king's ship, now on the beak, now in the waist, the deck, in every cabin I flamed amazement. Sometime I'd divide and burn in many places. On the topmast, the yards and bowsprit would I flame distinctly, then meet and join. Jove's lightnings, the precursors of the dreadful thunderclaps, more momentary and sight outrunning were not. The fire and cracks of sulphurous roaring, the most mighty Neptune seemed to besiege, and make his bold waves tremble, yea, his dread trident shake. That's a mouthful, isn't it? So I think there are two things that we can talk about in this speech. And the first is that this speech is like a report. Ariel comes back and tells Prospero about what has happened. And in doing that, not only does he tell Prospero what's happened, but he tells the audience what's happened. So the plot moves on. We understand a little bit more about the action and what happens. So that's a very clever device that Shakespeare uses, and all playwrights use that, making the action move along by reporting something in a monologue. And the second thing that I think is really important in this speech is the words that are used. We really can see what's happening because the words that are used are so lovely. Things like Ariel says, I flamed amazement, which means I made terror everywhere. Then he says, sometime I divide and burn in many places. So we can imagine Ariel divides himself. He's a spirit, he can do this. He divides himself into lots of little bits, and he's all over the ship, all at the same time, creating havoc for these poor sailors that must be terrified. The words that are used in this speech, there are lots of brilliant words, and I thought we could use some of those words to do a bit of physical work a bit later on. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to think about the word imagery. So we're going to think about how words are used to make us, the audience, imagine the scene in Shakespeare's time. So with that in mind, what we're going to do is we are going to do some similes. This is a way of using words to create images in our head and to make things clearer for the audience. So I'm going to give you a line and I want you to finish it off. So the first line that I'm going to give you is, the shark had teeth as sharp as. And you've got to think of something that could be really sharp. Okay, so have a little think and I'll say the line again. The shark had teeth as sharp as... Did you think of something? I mean, it could be something like the shark had teeth as sharp as knives. If we say that, we can really see those knives, can't we, in the shark's mouth? And we can imagine how sharp they are because of it. All right, let's do another one. You are as brave as... What did you think? Maybe it could be, you are as brave as a bear, or you are as brave as a lion. What did you choose? Should we do another one? Okay, now this one's about colour. Her lips were as red as... Yeah, I would have chosen cherries. Did you choose that too, or something else? Her lips were as red as cherries. We can really see her lips now, being that bright red colour, can't we? Let's do one more. You ready? I'm as fast as... What did you choose? Maybe I'm as fast as a cheetah. Cheetahs are really fast, aren't they? So you can see by using similes like that, if you were to write your own monologue, you could use some things like that to make the audience really see what's happening. What about all those other words that they use in that speech? Shakespeare uses words like flamed, amazement, lightnings, thunderclaps, roaring, tremble, shake. Using all those words help us, the audience, to see what's happening. In Shakespeare's time, there were no special effects, there was no lighting, so we had to rely on the words to create the pictures, in the audience head. Let's do a little bit of physical work just before we finish for today. So we're going to use some of those words. Amazement, lightnings, thunderclaps. And when I say the word, I want you to make an action and a sound. So I'll give you an example for the first one. So the first one is flamed. Okay, so if I was to think of flamed, I might do this. Possibly. But you can make up your own thing. So an action and a sound. Are you ready? Okay, I'm going to give you the first one. So amazement. Go. Brilliant. Okay, next one. Lightnings. Go. Did you think of something? Great. Okay, next one. Thunderclaps. Go. Super stuff. Okay, let's do another one. Roaring. Go. And another one. Tremble. Go. Great. Brilliant. All right, so did you get an action and a sound for each one? Super. When you're performing a monologue, like Ariel's monologue, it's a very physical monologue because we want the audience to see how Ariel was darting from one part of the ship to the other. So it would really help if you could do movements and possibly sounds while you were performing that monologue. Great stuff. Well done, everyone. Well, that's the end of that session. I hope you've enjoyed it. We've thought about all sorts of things to do with monologues today, haven't we? We've thought about how monologues can let us see how a character is feeling and maybe think about the thoughts that are in their head. We have thought about how by using iambic pentameter, Shakespeare makes us emphasise more words than others. We've talked about how monologues can be like a report so that they move the action along We get told about what happens. We thought about imagery and how you can use words to create a much more vivid picture in the audience head. And we've talked about how monologues can be persuasive, how other characters can be persuaded to do something, or even a character can persuade themselves to do something by the words that they use. Well done, everybody. I think we need a little cool down and then we're going to say bye-bye. So stand with your toes facing forwards, hip width apart, and we're going to take a nice deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth and in through the nose and stretch up and out through the mouth. Lovely, roll those shoulders back and down. Great. One hand here, one hand there, and give yourselves a really big round of applause. Yay! And remember, if you do any of this, if you film any of this, doing a monologue or writing a monologue or anything, please share it with us on our Facebook page because we really, really, really would love to see it. Well done, everyone. I'll see you next week. Bye.